All right, Elle. What's red, sweet, delicious, in my fridge for way too long?
Apples?
No. Ketchup. Welcome to Where Does Food, the food podcast where food history does food. I'm your host, Tim. Also, your host with me is Elle.
What's up, you guys? I'm sorry. I wasn't anticipating ketchup.
And today, we're talking about that sweet, sweet ketchup, baby. You know it. I know it.
I love it.
Elle knows it.
I'm not going to lie. I fuck with it pretty hard.
Okay, that was my question. Elle, how do you feel about ketchup?
Yes. Okay, yeah. No, I fuck with it pretty hard.
Yeah?
People call it a basic condiment, but I feel like you can put it on so many different things.
Okay, I don't like ketchup.
Perfect. We're already on.
All right.
Yes.
So on a scale from 1 to 69,
Yes. Nice.
Twinkies, where do you rate ketchup?
Okay.
1 to 69 Twinkies. Where are you falling? Where's ketchup living for you?
I guess we'll go like 39, 40. Like I like ketchup, but I'm not like gung ho for ketchup.
Oh, I like ketchup.
I like
just
ketchup.
Don't love
I
ketchup.
don't love ketchup. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Middle of the road.
What was the number?
40.
Gotta
39. No. Let's go 39.
39. Gotta work on my active listening skills.
It's okay. I say stuff and then forget what I just said 2 seconds later. So
Gotta work on your active talking skills.
fuck. That old age.
Let's get started. Okay, so modern ketchup, and I'm going to use the term modern ketchup here. When I say the word ketchup, what do you think of?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think of like Heinz 57 ketchup.
Right, tomatoes.
Tomatoes in a bottle.
Yeah, same thing. We said the same thing. You said Heinz, I said tomatoes. Those words.
I said the American version.
Same. All right, so modern ketchup is made with tomatoes, sugar, vinegar, and tons of spices like garlic, onion powder, allspice, coriander, cumin.
What?
Yeah, made with all types of stuff. It's sweet. It's tangy. It's a condiment. And it is used on practically every food known to mankind. 90% of all households in the States have ketchup in them.
That's actually a very
That
wild
is a
stat.
fucking nutty amount of ketchup going around. That is ridiculous. 60% of all ketchup sales belong to Heinz.
Wow.
That is wild.
That's a hell
to
of
me.
a grip on the market. Yeah.
By the way, it's deserved. Heinz ketchup is way better than the comp. Just saying. I'm just saying. Don't skimp. Do not skimp.
Heinz
Pay
all the
the
way.
extra $1. just do it, brother. You'll thank me later. All right. I mean, I'm not even gonna go into the different foods. Just know it is literally on every food.
Yes.
People put it on their fucking spaghetti. People put it on pizza.
Yeah.
People put it on it's don't do that. That's
never heard of
all.
that.
Those are disgusting options. Don't
Pizza.
do that. But definitely, yeah, man. And people put it on their eggs.
Yes.
That makes
I've heard
me
of that.
want to gag. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Why would you ever do that? You should question yourself and your sanity. Do not. That is crazy behavior. What are you doing? Do not put it on your eggs. That's my.
Wow.
I'm adamant.
I
didn't
realize this was such a point
Do
of
not.
contention for you.
Hot sauce is what goes with eggs.
We
You
love
don't
some hot
fucking put ketchup on eggs. That's ridiculous. What a stupid thing to do. You're stupid. No, I'm kidding. You're not stupid, even if you do it. But I don't do it anymore.
Just don't do it around Tim and you'll be all right.
So most of you are okay. Hey there, it's your host Tim, stopping the podcast to tell you about an awesome deal that you can get through Rep Sports. Rep Sports is a supplement company, so they help supplement people's workout lives. They have proteins, pre-workouts, post-workouts, recoveries. They have all types of supplements over there, so go check them out and fill out that stack. I know you're getting low. I can feel it. My stack's getting low. I'm about to do me a shop as well. You can also get mine and Elle's favorite energy drink, Raise Energy. I'm telling you, one can get you through the day. Not a problem. Raise Energy is fantastic. No crash at all. So if you go to repsports.com and use the code WDF15, you can get 15% at checkout. Again, WDF15. You get 15% at checkout, and you also get to support this podcast and support your workout routine, man. Go do it. Now enjoy the rest of this podcast that we love doing. Hey guys, welcome to the ad section. I'm here to tell you real quick about Anchor by Spotify. You may have heard us talk about Anchor at the end of our episodes, is because Anchor is the platform we use to distribute our podcasts. It's totally free. It helps us distribute our podcasts to different platforms. That's how we're on Apple Podcasts. That's how we're on Google Podcasts, CastBox, you name it. They've helped us do that. You can record directly on the app, on the webpage, so you don't even need a super fancy setup. It's super straightforward, totally free. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast or whatever you like to do. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the episode. All right, the etymology.
Yes.
Etymology with Tim.
Yeah.
All right, the etymology, it's hotly debated.
Okay.
It is. There's a feud
Okay.
over ketchup amongst scholars. It's not as politically poignant as falafel or as Putin. So,
Okay.
but
More
it's got some theories.
Okay.
So now here we go. Time for etymological theory time.
Yo.
That's our new.
Say that
what a
5 times
fun,
fast.
what a fun segment we're on. Etymological theory time. Theory number 1, the Amoy theory.
Okay.
This theory states that the word is Cantonese in origin.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't anticipate
from
that.
Ketchup.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That translates to tomato sauce.
It doubly makes sense.
Yeah,
So this is
Cantonese tomato sauce. There you go.
I was gonna say, this is
Second
a
part
contender.
of this theory. It's like part. It's theory 1, part A and part B. Part B of this theory is that the word ketchup comes from the coastal southern region of China
Okay.
as ketchup or ketchup.
Again, makes
Whoa,
sense. Yeah.
Etymological things are that's why I like words, man. That's just good, So why is it called the Amoy theory? That's because that's the Amoy region of
Okay.
China.
No idea.
if you're
Okay.
wondering.
Cool.
Yeah, those words, the last two that I mentioned, translate to like brine pickled fish. We'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Theory 2, the Malay theory. This theory states that the word ketchup made its way to English by the way of Malay, the word ketchup. Huh?
Okay. I was like, that's very similar.
The term ketchup refers to fermented savory sauces. There are dose types of
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
There are ketchup asin, which is salty ketchup. And then there's ketchup manis, which is sweet ketchup. By the way, ketchup also translates to soy sauce originally.
Okay.
Fun for us.
Love soy sauce.
Theory 3, the European Arabic theory. So the anthropologist, the American one, E.N. Anderson, gets his research from Elizabeth David that claims that the word ketchup is from the French escabeche.
Oh.
Yeah, that just means food and sauce.
Huh.
Yeah. It also
sounds
exists
so
in
much more fancy.
Spanish and Portuguese from escabeche, a sauce for pickling. That's what that stands for. And then our culinary historian, watch out, Karen. That's our fucking job. Karen Hess traced the Arabic kabiz, or pickling with vinegar, to the term kavich, right? So it gets...
Right. We're all, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all kind of within each other.
Yeah. And that was attested in the late 17th century at the same time as ketchup.
Okay.
So those are the 3 theories of where ketchup could have come from.
Interesting.
I'm going to go with theory 1.
Yeah, that sounds more
I
accurate.
just feel like, of course, China has something to play with this.
It's like the
Also,
names.
here's what we're going to learn.
What are we going to learn, Tim?
Ketchup,
Yeah.
me just saying ketchup and your first thought being tomato ketchup, that is not how it has always been.
Okay. Okay.
And only started being that way in the 20th century.
All right. Now you're Okay. So let's go backwards. So then, because you're getting me on this whole pickling sauce.
All right. So a form of ketchup started in ancient China.
Okay.
All right. Now we're on
Go
the
back to
history.
yeah.
As far back as 300 BCE.
It's a long ass
So
time ago.
they used to make a paste out of fish, spices, and soy.
Okay. You have my attention.
And that's what they considered as a ketchup. It was a pickled sauce that was salty and briny.
I was gonna say, it actually probably was pretty good.
So, I don't know about that. So, through trade routes, it made its way to Indonesia. And then from there, European people ganked it. They were like, yeah, this weird fishy sauce tastes delicious. So they ganked that shit. And then what do you think the Europeans did with it?
They took it and ran with it.
No, they made it worse. Like Europeans do. They don't know how to cook food. White people are bad.
Except the French, apparently.
Yeah, so pretty much once the Anglo-Saxons took it, they fucking... And once they ganked it, they just immediately turned it into something else.
Yes, naturally.
And that form comes in the way of mushrooms.
Okay, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, mushrooms.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I'm confused, but I'll go with it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially...
You're talking about a fucking journey right now.
Yeah, well, essentially, they would take mushrooms and they would cook it and break it down and add, anchovies and different spices and stuff like that. And yeah, it was essentially the same process. It's just, and then they used wine a lot in it. So it was just like, it's a very similar process to what you were seeing out of the soy and fish stuff, except now it's like, wine and mushroom. And they still had like some fish in there with some extra seasonings. And that was like ketchup for a long time. There was actually, we'll talk about another form of ketchup real quick, was banana ketchup.
Oh, I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, so there was a shortage of tomatoes at one point.
Okay.
And so a popular replacement, not replacement, but a popular alternative to tomato ketchup was banana ketchup. It's very popular and is still served in South America quite often.
Wow, I had no clue.
So,
I would actually want to try that. I don't know if it'd be good, but I would definitely want to try it.
Well, it's essentially just fermented fruits and stuff like that with some vinegar and stuff. It's not going to be sweet or anything. It's going to be sweet and tangy, much like a tomato ketchup would be. Like I think a lot of people don't realize that tomato is actually sweet with tanginess. Like it's not just like tangy, salty thing. Like it's, tomatoes have some sweetness to them. Yeah, so took the way of mushrooms. Now, the 18th century, that was the prime time, baby. That's when ketchup was making its round in the cookbooks. I mean, it was being, every cookbook apparently in the 18th century had a recipe for some version of ketchup.
Interesting.
One of them called for like way too many fucking mushrooms, like way too many mushrooms.
I'm certain.
And then cooking those down and then like muddling them up and then adding wine. Fucking weird. Fucking wild. And then tomato ketchup finally comes around in the 19th century.
In the 19th century?
19th century.
That's a hell of a long time before, from what we know, tomato. Okay.
Yeah. So, and it takes longer for tomato ketchup to really kind of get a hold.
Okay.
And the reason being was preservation. Tomato ketchup was very hard to preserve because the tomatoes would go bad. There wasn't enough acidity in the early recipes for tomato ketchup. So it just didn't, it didn't really like take flight. It was popular by flavor. It just didn't it was hard to like maneuver. It was, until you figure out how to make it not go bad, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be very localized. And that's actually what it was for a long time. It was sold from farmers. Like most of the early, like in the States specifically, most of the early like tomato ketchup stuff was all, farmers just, it was all very local, rural shit because it just didn't travel well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wild, right?
Yeah.
So anchovies were used in an early rendition. But by the time you get to the mid 1850s, so mid 19th century, the anchovies just dropped completely.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Get them out of there.
Get them out of there.
I think that personally would be kind of good. I mean, I like Caesar dressing. It's made with anchovies.
Yeah, that's the only time. It's so funny you say that because that's the only time I'll have anchovies.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go back to Philadelphia, baby.
Yo, okay.
So a Philadelphia scientist.
Sorry, Ben Simmons.
Yeah. So a Philadelphia scientist known as James Meese is credited with publishing the first recipe of tomato ketchup in 1812.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, and then Jonas Yerkes, I don't know, is credited as the first man to sell tomato ketchup in a bottle.
Oh.
And he was one of the first people to really kind of get it manufactured and pushed.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Mass manufactured, okay.
Yeah, so he was kind of the beginning of that.
Let's go Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Ultimately, to help keep it preserved, there was a thing used in production, maybe you've heard of it, sodium benzoate, right? Maybe you heard of that?
A little bit.
Yeah. So that was used as a preservation method. Like I said, tomato ketchup, hard to keep it preserved.
Right.
So that was used. Well, fun fact,
Mm-hmm.
before the FDA was like the FDA,
Yeah.
they banned that shit
Oh, look. Okay.
in 1909.
Oh,
They were like, no, we don't like
isn't
that.
gonna work.
Not going to happen.
Okay.
So that is when they changed the ketchup recipe. And Heinz was one of the first to really lead that way. And I mean,
Oh.
they also like were in like legitimate food scientists as well. Like did studies on how to like keep this shit preserved. And
That's
they found
cool.
out
Okay.
that increasing vinegar and sugar contents helped it keep it preserved.
Cool.
So
Okay.
now you have this newer recipe that comes out, and that creates what we know as modern tomato ketchup.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Like all of the thickness, everything
Mm-hmm.
about it is that's where it comes from. Is that their
Higher
preservative?
vinegar, sugar.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
preservative method got banned, and so they had to create like a legitimate
way.
way to like keep this preserved. And yeah, that's what happened. Early versions of it was very liquidy of tomato
I was
ketchup.
gonna ask. Okay.
And mushroom ketchup, by the way, is still consumed in Europe, just not very popular. But it's still consumed. It is actually it separates really easily.
Oh, I don't like that.
So it's kind of like kind of chutney-ish. Like it's it's kind of like that consistency, like almost in like the vein of a hummus even.
Okay.
Like that's what it sort of looks like. Whereas like we think of ketchup today and it's very smooth.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Yeah. It stresses me
Yeah.
out when it's too liquidy, right?
Yeah. So, anytime you see that sort of separation, it's because of hydrophobic molecules. So, like, ketchup separates because of that. The stuff that's mixed with it doesn't like to be mixed. So, it just naturally separates over time. So,
Cool.
have you seen the thing where it says fancy ketchup?
I have.
What do you think that is?
From what I understand, it's just mayo and ketchup, right?
No.
And mustard.
You're thinking of fancy sauce.
Oh.
Just the bottles of ketchup that say fancy ketchup on it.
No, I don't think I have them.
Okay. So, there are bottles of ketchup that say fancy ketchup
Quite
on
literally
it.
fancy ketchup on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you may be thinking to yourself, like, oh, what the fuck is a fancy
I'm
ketchup?
genuinely curious to know.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Fancy ketchup literally just means it has more tomato solids. That's it.
So what is? I mean, is it just a thicker ketchup then?
Literally just more tomato solids. Just adds more tomatoey punch. That's it. That's the difference. It's actually graded in 3 different standards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there is standard, extra standard, and then fancy. So at the
got my
standard rate,
attention.
you got 25% tomato solids.
Okay.
At the extra standard, you got 29% tomato solids. And at the fancy standard, you're at 33% tomato solids.
I wonder how that scale came about in the first place.
I have no clue, but
Yeah.
I legitimately, I've seen fancy ketchup on bottles, and I've always thought to myself,
They're just saying that.
it's
right?
marketing,
Yeah.
right? Like, that thing's different about that. I had no clue that they were walking around just, putting extra
Legitimately.
tomato.
Yeah. No, this grading scale, like a 25, 29, 33. Where did they come up with that percentage of?
I also love, so I did all the condiments, and
yeah.
when we were putting together season 1, I did want to hit the condiments because those, I don't know, something about these foods that are so ubiquitous with our our lives,
our day-to-day life. Yeah.
It's like ketchup is in 90% of all homes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is
It's an absurd stat line.
nuts. Like it's way more than mustard and mayo.
Yes.
And it's specifically in the States, it outsells every other condiment by a lot.
I could see that.
Whereas mustard was just mustard's
can see
used
that,
across the globe.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about that is just how many countries use mustard seed. Mayo, Russians really like it, but for the most part, mayo is one of those things where it's just the base of most other sauces. Mm-hmm. Ketchup does get used in that way, but just as a fucking sauce. And by the way, from the get-go, that fishy soy paste was made, and it's considered a form of ketchup that was used on a lot of things. It was just literally paired with foods.
Right.
The
That
whole purpose of it was to eat it with other foods. That was it.
That was
Ketchup is one of those insane condiments. People put it on everything.
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 Even if it doesn't belong.
Yeah,
People will have it with ketchup. Yeah.
They just put it on everything, and that is so insanely wild.
It
is. No other condiment, even though there's other very popular ones. No other condiment does that. And I looking it up. I mean, yeah. By the way, that's sort of the gist of the history of ketchup.
Wow.
I think it's super interesting. And again, it's not like a lot of like specific time periods and stuff like that, because it's just a food that is so wildly like it's not special. And that's what makes it so crazy. Like when I was researching it, again, when we're talking about mustard and mayo, there's like battles that like, well, we think was like, this is where it comes from because this one dude was eating this meal and it had a thing that was kind of like mayo. Like, no, ketchup is just like, it was made of this. People ate it.
People ate it. It evolved to this.
People ate it.
Turned into that.
That's it. People just ate it all the time.
Yeah.
People make mushroom ketchup still like at home.
Yeah, I know.
There's banana. There's banana ketchup.
Same.
There's tons of different versions of ketchup. For the most part, tomato ketchup is now ubiquitous with the word ketchup. That is my take on ketchup.
Tim,
any questions? Anything you want to dive into
comments
further?
Or concerns?
Anything that you feel ketchup should never be on ever, like I do?
Like eggs? No, I don't have a strong affinity for ketchup in that sense. If you want,
Okay.
But I
also don't believe it belongs on hot dogs. That's just me.
Okay, no. Let's time out. Let's talk about this for a second. Why do you not like ketchup on hot dogs?
Because it's too sweet.
Put a little mustard on top.
Mustard by itself is fine. Why do you need the ketchup?
Add a little bit of sweetness to the.
The hot dog's already sweet and the bread's already sweet.
Okay, we agree to disagree here. But honestly though,
put some caramelized onions on it if you want.
Oh fuck yeah!
I mean? Don't ditch the onions.
Never ditch the onions.
I thought I told you already. Don't
fresh
ditch
onions or the caramelized onions.
Let me also say that like Chicago makes a mean fucking hot dog. This isn't the episode for hot dogs. Chicago makes a mean hot dog. The tomatoes,
no free
the mustard,
outs.
the onions, the sport peppers, the poppy seed bun.
The poppy seed bun, man.
It's where it's at.
And it's like, you don't think all those things, but no, it works.
So good.
It works.
I mean, the spicy raw onion with the sharp, tangy sport pepper with the sweet, fresh
the cut
tomato.
of the raw onions on there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's good. Everything about
so
it's
good.
perfect.
But yeah. Either way.
Tomato?
Ketchup, tomato, tomato. No, I didn't. I just was always under the assumption that ketchup has always been like a tomato based thing.
Yeah.
So that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
To find out that, in fact, tomatoes actually didn't come along until way later in the scheme of the quote unquote ketchup.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. I also think it's funny that I also think it's funny that like the word ketchup is like typically means like a briny sauce.
Yeah. When you're talking about
like, and that's what it means, but you don't like it's
pickled.
So ubiquitous with tomato ketchup
that
like it's hard for my brain to even compute.
I agree with that.
The idea that like there are just other ketchups. Like there's other, because when I think of like banana ketchup, I'm like, oh, it's a riff on ketchup.
Same.
Like no,
but it's ketchup.
No, it's just another ketchup. Like the ketchup we talk about is tomato ketchup technically.
Yeah.
Like technically it's tomato ketchup.
So that's a weird concept for me to get behind.
Yeah, it's super odd, and it's funny to me that it's odd to do that with ketchup, but like when we're talking about mayo, that, like for me that is super easy because mayo is essentially just like an aioli. Cool. Aioli just means like emulsified fat and eggs. Gotcha. Sounds good. That makes sense. Like for some reason, my brain is like, yeah,
I can fathom that.
That's what works. Again, like yes, ketchup does get added to sauces and stuff. I don't ever like to infringing on potential other like future episodes, but like barbecue sauces, like I do know that like to make like a super easy rudimentary homemade barbecue sauce, you should use some ketchup, some molasses, some brown sugar, and some salt and some vinegar, and that's like a super homemade, like super easy rudimentary like barbecue sauce. Tomato ketchup does get used in those ways, but it's not typically like, oh, this is my base for a sauce. It's very much like it's like a powerhouse of a fucking sauce. Like,
I mean, hell, especially if you're a fancy ketchup and it's 33% tomato.
Well, it's weird, and I think it's weird for me because I don't really like ketchup. So it's very weird for me that like people really do love the shit. Like,
love it. No, I'm.
So where you at? Where you at on your Twinkies?
Where was I before?
39.
I'm gonna bump that up.
Nice.
Because we were at 69, right?
69.
I'm going to bump that up to, I'd say like about a 48 to 50 range. We're not there yet, but we definitely bumped it up quite a few.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, the origin story.
I was not expecting to get that
The
much
origin
of a bump
story
from you.
really got me, and I'm really enjoying the fact that I can get 3 different types of ketchup, with one of them officially being fancy ketchup.
Yeah. Now you know. When
Yeah.
you're in the store, you're going to be looking for that
I
fancy
really am,
label.
though. I'm like, it's gonna
You're gonna
taste
be like,
better.
Extra 50 cents. Got it.
Got it. No, I really, the story is what took it to the next level for me, because I wasn't anticipating one thing, and then it was a psychological thriller, and it took me on the other side of it, and I'm very satisfied with the conclusion of it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. No matter where you rank ketchup, you can talk to us about it at Twitter.
What?
You can go to Twitter and check us out at Where Does Food.
Yes.
Yeah, and
What you got?
I'm at Tim Weehunt. L is
At El Chapo with the letter L and 3 underscores.
nailed it. That's how you find us
9
if you want to
episodes out of
interact with
10.
us. So yeah, you can go there, do all that fun stuff. You can check us out on anchor.fm/where-does-food. That's home base. That's centralized. That's where we're at. That's where you can find all of our episodes. That's where you can find bonus content. And that's also where you can find the supporter button.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, man. If you want to support us, you want to help us, I don't know, get better at this. Make it a realized project that can actually sustain itself. Literally just
cool.
sustain itself. No extra profit, just sustainability. This would be awesome. So we would absolutely love it and cherish you, and with your consent, look deeply into your eyes. Yeah, so you can also check us out on Spotify if you just want to listen to the episodes. You can check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Hey,
Yeah?
if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Why wouldn't you leave a review? I mean, that's crazy.
You're already there anyways.
That's crazy.
You gotta click around anyways. Just go ahead and...
Why wouldn't you leave a review? You don't leave reviews for things you like?
We know you do.
Wild.
We're on the internet. We see you do.
Gosh, my favorite subsection of reviews are people that review cereals. I love that. You could Google.
Of course.
You could,
of course there is.
You could Google
Didn't think about
cereals, and it'll have reviews for each cereal. And you can watch people have put on Google reviews for cereal. Some heroes have to do it, so the rest of us can,
What are you saying?
the rest of us can benefit.
Yeah, it's true. Advocates.
Yeah. You can check us out on those platforms. We're also on Catbox. Listen, we're where podcasts are. And if, for the love of God, if you're just like, Tim, shut the fuck up, you ramble too much, how are we supposed to remember all these URLs?
How?
You can just go to the information bio with the episode you're listening to right now. I bet there's a drop-down arrow or some shit. You know how OSs look. You just click one of those bad boys, and it'll drop the whole thing down and tell you kind of like a short little summary of what the episode is about. And then it's going to have links to everything I just mentioned, the Twitters, the episodes, the Anchor, all of it. So yeah, you can.
That's awesome.
You can just do that.
It's pretty cool.
Have a good time and
acting surprised.
Yeah. You can do all that. Have a good time and
support us.
Support us, man.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Yay.